The richest people in the world buy the craziest, most unique, and sometimes useless houses. These are the most expensive homes that billionaires own. First up, from one of the biggest power couples in the world, Jay-Z and Beyoncé. They didn't shy away from going extreme when they bought a house together. I'm talking about the highest priced home ever sold in California, which is right off the coast of Malibu. This home looks straight out of space. Since Jay-Z has a history of being attacked on stage, they needed the best security they could get, which includes bulletproof windows everywhere just to protect them. If you spy on them with a drone, you can see there are 4 outdoor swimming pools. I'm actually wondering why they need all those swimming pools when they have their own private beach in their backyard. Anyway, their home also has a full basketball court, private spa, and gym. Altogether, that makes this mansion worth over a shocking $200 million, which is more than many artists like Travis Scott's entire net worth. The next house was a potential contender to take Jay-Z's title for the most expensive home sold. Its developers listed a mansion that looks like it belongs to Tony Stark for $500 million. This place is the biggest modern home in the US, with approximately 105,000 square feet located in the hills of Bel Air. You would assume that a crazy mansion like this has buyers lined up, but no billionaires didn't really want to buy it. Apparently, it's filled with weird rooms, like a room dedicated to jellyfish and another to candy. But we cannot deny it does have some cool stuff like a private club, a beauty salon, 5 pools, and its own outdoor running track. I mean, you could literally live here completely isolated from the world. Even though the place seemed amazing, there was a serious lack of interest at that price. Luckily, right before the owners were about to go bankrupt, they were saved by the Fashion Nova CEO Richard Sagan, worth $1.3 billion. He bought it for only $141 million, which is $359 million less than the original price, which is a deal of his lifetime. Now, you'll never guess how much Richard Branson spent in buying an entire private island. This Caribbean island is full of bizarre-looking animals like flamingos and lemurs. It's also the perfect spot to practice his love for kite surfing. The island includes many villas with hundreds of employees who tend to your every need. You can actually book the whole island for yourself for $105,000 a night. Only the ultra-rich or rich YouTubers like Mr. Beast can afford that. What's even more shocking is how cheap Richard Branson actually bought the island for. Since he bought it back in the late 1970s before prices skyrocketed, it only cost him $180,000 for the whole island. He started upgrading the island shortly after, but there's never been a public figure released how much he spent upgrading the island. Since then, his head house burned down and rebuilt even more luxurious ones, so it's got to be near the tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. And now the next one is exactly called a typical celebrity home. George Lucas's house wasn't as concerned with luxury because it's a film nerd's paradise. The Skywalker Ranch is one of the most beautiful places any billionaire owns. It's got vineyards, mountain ranges, and rolling hills that make you feel like you are in the Victorian era. There are also many movie references all around the ranch, like a statue of Yoda, Charlie Chaplin's hat and cane, and a new drawing of John Lennon. The main draw of this ranch is that it actually houses the entire sound division of Lucasfilm, which is used for the most of Star Wars and Indiana Jones films. George found that he couldn't get the right sound out of a rented studio, so he decided to create his own so they could mix design and do any post-production at the Skywalker Ranch. And when the films are finished, they've got a huge movie theater with 3-story tall LED screens to premiere them. They've also got a huge research library and tons of books and materials for sound designers to use. Since Skywalker Ranch actually is a ranch, they also produce their own wine, olive oil, and even Wagyu beef. In case anyone happens to get a little too drunk from the wine and cause a fire, they actually have their own fire department ready to respond to any emergencies. I guess that justifies the cost of being so secluded with all these features of the Skywalker Ranch to a whopping $100 million. In the long run, George Lucas isn't living as royalty like the British monarchy. Brits are always complaining about how much of their taxes go to the royal family, and once you learn how much their main palace is worth, you might get why they need that money. Just on the inside, there are 775 rooms. a private doctor's office, even a police station, and over 25,000 bottles of wine in their wine cellar. Did you know there are also secret tunnels to a bunker in case the whole world is literally collapsing, which apparently connects to all the main houses that the royals live in? Their ballroom can hold over 600 guests alone, and almost every American president has been there. For all of this, Buckingham Palace is worth over $5 billion, which pretty much makes every senior member of the royal family a billionaire from the palace alone. The Buckingham Palace is one of the most expansive mansions in the world, but there's other wealthy people all around the world, not just in the West, like Mukesh Ambani in India. He's worth over $112 billion, so he went all out when he bought a house in the heart of Mumbai. It's a tower called Antilia, with over 27 stories reaching 568 feet in the air. I mean, look at it! It's even bigger on the inside with 6 lower levels with space just for 168 cars. The top 4 floors are all dedicated to vertical gardens with a 50-seat movie theater, an ice room with artificial snow, and crystal chandeliers everywhere. The mansion is so big, they need 600 servants just to maintain the place. It's also designed to be able to withstand a magnitude 8 earthquake, even though it looks straight up like a Django tower waiting to fall. All this together makes Mukesh's tower worth over $2 billion. At least we know who owns this one since the craziest mansion in the world has kept its owner secret. It's definitely an older mansion with Georgian-style architecture, but it's still extremely nice on the inside. It includes a breathtaking amount of land. Even though the pool on the outside is massive, it's never really used since the place is mostly uninhabited. It's believed that this place is owned by one of Putin's closest advisors, Andrei Guriev. He's worth around $5 billion from selling fertilizer. And Andrei is not the only one who's a bit secretive about his house, so does the next one on our list, Bill Gates. So much so that a tour of his house went for $35,000 at a charity auction. Even though it's super futuristic on the inside, it actually looks just like a cabin on the outside, which makes sense since it's in the woods of Washington. Bill Gates calls it Xanadu 2.0, named after Citizen Kane's fictional mansion. His vision for the house was to have one of the first smart homes. Any guest of the house can change each room's lighting, music, and climate by touchpad devices throughout the place. There are $80,000 worth of touchscreens that can display artwork or anything else you can imagine. Through the front and the bottom of the house, there's a stream with salmon and trout, so Bill can fish right at his own place. It's almost home to a giant library with a $130 million book, which is crazy because that's literally the price of his mansion. For Tiger Woods, you'd expect about as much as his mansion costs. As one of the richest athletes in the world, he made sure he could work on his golf game even when he was at home. Tiger Woods' mansion has a 4-hole course in the backyard, complete with a short game area and a video studio where he can analyze his swing. He's also got an oxygen therapy room, whatever that means, and an outdoor track. The Florida island itself that he lives on, Jupiter Island, is hell expensive. Only 900 people live there, and he's in an even more exclusive neighborhood within it, so he had to put down $54 million on it. And like Tiger Woods, Larry Ellison also needed time to escape from the media, so he built a house that he felt would be the perfect mix of tranquility and harmony with nature. It sounds corny, but the house actually looks pretty cool. It's inspired by a 16th century Japanese emperor's palace, and it definitely shows through its bathhouse, dope Japanese gardens, and tea house. He dropped $70 million on this house just to feel a little zen. I didn't think you could feel zen in New York, but Ira Renard definitely tried. Renard wanted to find an area where he doesn't have to hear the traffic, so he ended up paying $248 million for a New York estate in Hamptons. But estimates say it might be worth $500 million now. This huge mansion has 12 chimneys for some reason, but that's not the only thing that's excessive. He also spent $150,000 on his hot tub alone. And you know what? This is the only home I've ever heard of that has its own power plant. He wants to create his own power, I guess, in case there's some sort of nuclear apocalypse. And apparently, he's not the only one concerned with that because Mark Zuckerberg's also prepared. He straight up bought a Hawaii doomsday city just in case. For years, he's been buying up over 14 acres of land to build a compound of mansions, tree houses, and tunnels. Under the surface is a 5,000 feet shelter with a blast-resistant door and a lifetime supply of energy and food. I guess we all go to Zug if we want to survive the apocalypse. Saudi family worth over 1.4 trillion? Those are peasant numbers. Apparently, they own multiple palaces worth over 500 million. Inside one of the palaces, they got a private suite for all types of exotic animals. Since Saudi Arabia is a boiling hot desert, they have snow rooms to experience winter and also have their own underground beaches and caves inside the palace. Talk about not having to leave your house ever, since Saudi Arabia isn't as beautiful in itself, so they have to add things like that. But France has natural beauty, so this villa once owned by the King of Belgium can give it a run for its money. It's got 50 acres of lush gardens, a view of the Mediterranean Sea, and surrounding hills in a huge greenhouse. It's also been the backdrop for some classic films like one by Alfred Hitchcock valued at over $750 million. Jay-Z and Beyonce couldn't even afford it. It's said to be owned by a Russian billionaire, Mikhail Prerov. I don't know why he ran for president against Putin in 2012 when he could just have chilled there. Even though Taylor Swift is rich enough to fly a private jet from bathroom to bathroom, her house isn't exactly as large as you expect. Though she does have other 7 mansions to her name, but she paid for her biggest Beverly Hills mansion in cash, which is even more crazy when you learn how much it costs. Previously owned by film producer Samuel Goldwyn, this place has the status of a historical landmark, making it an absolute headache to renovate. Taylor actually wants to restore it to its exact glory from 1934 when it held parties for Hollywood's biggest stars. It got a whole Great Gatsby theme to it, but it also includes an Italian pool, tennis court, and screening room costing Swift a slight 25 mil. Even though music makes a lot of money, some football players make even more. After Lionel Messi signed his Miami contract, his career earnings reached over $1.6 billion. It didn't surprise anyone when he purchased the largest place of any football player ever. Here, he's living better than anyone else on this list. I mean, he has his own private island shaped in his logo. Since it's in the middle of the ocean, there are helicopter pads, super yacht docks, and a soccer pitch to practice his game. Altogether, Messi's private island comes up to 100 mil, but at the moment, it's just a concept.